Hi, everybody. This is Veronica Calliets.
And I'm Daisha Calliets.
And we are the Keys.
The Calliets.
With the Calliets. Today we're talking about episode 2. We are so excited with the response that we got from our first video shooting. All we want to do is just be a blessing. And today, what are we talking about today, Daisha?
Well, today I think that today's topic should be something about relationships. Maybe we could talk about like building and maintaining healthy relationships and kind of like our story and how we got to this point and how I took that and in turn used that to build relationships with my friends and, you know, just with people.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Cool. So what should the key be?
Well, the key should be what you want to receive.
Oh, I like that. Or like be what you want to see from others or be what you need from others.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
I think that's good too.
You know, when I think about how we got to the place that we are now, I can't help but think about the challenges that we had. You know, as a parent, one of the things that we are oftentimes challenged with, and I can speak from many different areas of being a parent, but more particularly and most recently as a single parent. And remembering the challenges that I had, some of the frustrations of having to carry the load in the absence of a parent. And one of the things that we were challenged with was communication and how we treated each other and just with a lot of the frustrations that came about.
We're so similar.
Yes.
That we felt like we were opposites, but it's because like we thought we didn't see eye to eye, but we really just were struggling to find that common ground. And once we realized that it wasn't necessarily what we were saying, it's how we were saying it. Like we were both always so focused on getting our point across or being right that we didn't realize that we were literally saying the same thing in just different languages.
We are so much alike. And it got to the point where that was a challenge for us.
Yeah.
Because I had to realize the more I was exerting my authority, wanting to be right, venting all of my frustrations on you started shutting down. And I had to make a decision as a parent. Do I want to always be right, or do I want to have the right kind of relationship with my daughter?
It helped me to realize that relationships are, if they're built on a foundation of love, then love is the most important thing. So it should be about, you know, resolving conflict and not escalating it. Even if we're disagreeing, you have to find ways to communicate in a way that you're not just trying to say what you have to say and that's it, but like she has the space to vent her emotions and vent her frustrations, and then me, I have to listen, and then vice versa. It's like, it's about having this level of empathy where you understand that yes, even though she is my mom, she is a human. So the same way that like I feel these frustrations and I feel these pressures of life, I have to keep that in mind and understand that she may be doing it too. So give her the space in the room to process her emotions and to, you know, feel upset when I hurt her, and then to come back and try to resolve the conflict in a way that we can move forward from it. And it's not just like butting heads.
Coming from a generation where they didn't do a lot of talking, they did a more disciplining with the rod.
Because I said so.
I find myself not liking that as a child, but when I became a parent, doing the same thing.
Oh.
For me to make the decision to recognize one day I didn't like that when you started shutting down more. And so for me, having to make the sacrifice, I remember one time, you know, you did something that really, really upset me. And I was so, you're not gonna say it on camera. And I was so angry. I was livid. If I would have caught you, it was like, ah. But I remember I said, wait a minute, what do I want the end result to be? We have a conflict here. We need to be able to talk about it. And so instead of being communicating in the heat of the moment and saying something that I could not take back, I shut down for a couple of days and didn't say anything until I knew I was calm.
That's a really big point, and that actually, like, I took that and carried that over just like into my everyday life. Learning not to act on impulse and not to act on rage and anger is it's a challenge, because, you know, when somebody hurts you, you want to lash out and you want them to feel the same way they made you feel. But if the love is there and the foundation is there, then you have to make that sacrifice, and you have to say, you know what, even though they really hurt me, and even though I want to give them, you know, the same amount of pain that they gave me, I'm gonna just take a step back, process these emotions, and then come back when we can solve this in a way that'll resolve the conflict. And
that's true.
And that's, being what you need from others. Like, well, I know that I can be confrontational, but when it comes to somebody, confronting me and, hammering in on me, I'm like, oh, hold on. So I had to work on that in myself, and I had to stop being so confrontational with people and learn how to, just take a second, figure out what I need to say, and figure out the best possible way to say that'll actually, move us forward. One of the biggest things is like home, like your life here. You take that out into the real world. Like, this is where you learn your socialization skills.
Exactly.
This is, as humans, like, you literally learn how to be a functioning human within your family, and then you take that out. So whatever you do here, whatever we do here, like, that's what I'm gonna be.
Exactly.
So when we decided to put in a concerted effort, and even when it didn't, just fall into place, and it didn't feel like it was just happening naturally, we still were just like, no, we're not gonna give up. Even when I wanted to shut down and I wanted to just be like, whatever, I don't want to talk about it. No, Daisha, we're gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let you shut down. What is going on? What's wrong? And like that kind of effort, but it's so necessary. Right.
I remember another time too, even when I overreacted in a situation and I had to come back. I didn't have to apologize, but I wanted to apologize because once again, I had to model in front of you what I wanted to see. It's okay to say, I could have handled this a different way.
Right.
Mommy, sorry if I overreacted. And I remember the first time I did that, you had this look on your face like, really? You apologized? I'm like, yes.
Because it means so much to know that, because like you said, parents don't have to apologize. And a lot of parents don't. If they mess up, if they overreact, their apology is, you want to go get something to eat? And like, that's not, that doesn't carry the same weight as saying, you know what, I'm sorry for overreacting. I'm sorry for blowing up in your face. I could have handled that differently. Like, when you said that to me, I was like, she really do love me. Like, it changed like the whole just like dynamic of our relationship, because I felt that mutual respect. And that's that 50-50. And sometimes on the flip side, you don't always have that, mutuality. You don't always have that 50-50 because people have bad days. Sometimes my mom will have a really stressful day at work and I'll do something and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but it'll just be the, the straw on top of the camel's back. And that's when I have to come in and I have to put forth that 70 when she's given 30, because she can't, people can't always
be at 50-50 or 100.
Yeah, they can't always be at 100, but when you love someone, you sacrifice for them.
Cover them.
You cover them, yeah.
You cover them. And even it's so important because there are times that even as a friend where I had to put forth the effort. People grow up, people get busy, life shows up. And a lot of times, one of my best friends, we've been friends since 7th grade, Troy, and we make a point now, look, let's get together. You have to cultivate relationships. I cultivate relationship with you, Darius, your brother, but I also cultivate relationships with my friends. And a lot of times I say, Daisha, look, I miss you. I need to spend some time with you. And I'll just drive up to bed. It's like, Mama needs some time. But it's so important to tell a person because people can't read your mind. Even with my friends, we make a concerted effort to make sure we spend time together. I make sure I give you the time that you need. And then you're like, okay, Mama, all right, this weekend I'm going to spend time with you. And that means a lot to me.
Friendship isn't just about, oh, we've been friends, so we friends. If the relationship isn't there, a healthy one, where you know that this person is there for you and respects you and loves you and cares about your best interest, like, you have to be that person that you want others to be to you. So I noticed, like, as I started to grow up, my friendship dynamic started to change, and I had to become introspective, and I had to think, well, what am I putting out to have this back? And if I
what kind of friend am I?
Right, what kind of friend am I? And what kind of friends do I want from my, like, friendships? So how can I be that to attract that? Because the law of attraction is real. What you put out into the universe, it comes back. So if I had to say a major key, sum it all up, I would say that introspection is important, because if you look around and you aren't happy with the relationships that you have, the first thing you can do is to see what type of person you are and see how you are interacting with the people around you.
And I would say be what you want to receive. So I hope you enjoyed our second episode for today. Remember, like us on YouTube, subscribe and share.
And comment.
And comment. We want your
We
feedback.
want to talk to y'all.
And so until we meet again, enjoy the what? Keys with the Calliets.
Hey, that's a wrap.